We're broadcasting live from our Pocketsville studios right here in Highlands, Harare. My name is Zain Jam and welcome to the main news. And of course, it's always a lovely evening to you, Joyce.
Well, good evening to you, Zain. A warm welcome to our viewers. My name is Joyce Mabika. Noble Maungwa is on sign language.
And of course, later on, Marilyn Gwena will be joining us from our Montreux studios. But we kick off this bulletin with the headlines, rather. Government puts measures to protect consumers from unjustified price hikes.
Presidential borehole sinking program, a game changer for Zinga community in Buhera.
In business, Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates explore more trade and investment opportunities.
And in sport, Zimbabwe sprinters Makanaka Ishe Charamba and Tapuyanashe Makarau prepare for semi-finals at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games this Wednesday.
And now for the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has sworn in 2 new commissioners of the Zimbabwe Land Commission and a commissioner for the Commission of Inquiry into Governance matters of the Harare City Council since 2017. We get more from our diplomatic correspondent, Josephine Mugio.
Swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Zimbabwe and observe the laws of Zimbabwe. So help me God.
Dr. Tsitsi Rosemary Choruma and Ms. Sukai Tongogara took their oaths of office before President Emmerson Mnangagwa at State House in Harare this Tuesday after being appointed as commissioners of the Zimbabwe Land Commission. The Land Commission is mandated to look into issues of accountability and fairness in the administration of the country's agricultural land. Dr. Choruma says she is ready to serve, highlighting that agricultural land is a key component in the country's economic matrix.
Issues of land are ongoing issues. We have sanctions because of land. But this land ought to work for Zimbabweans. It is our heritage. As finite as it is, we believe that with a good land administration policy, this country can go forward in economic growth.
Ms. Tongogara says her expertise will help ensure fairness and accountability.
As you know, issues of land, there's so much issues around that, surrounding land, regarding corruption, fraud of land. So I think I'm coming in with my expertise to be able to identify the corruption in the land distribution of agricultural land, as well as to ensure fairness, accountability and transparency.
As Mr. Tafadzwa Ungwe took his oath to serve in the Commission of Inquiry into the governance of Harare City Council, he believes the key mandate is to speak to the residents and hear their concerns. He comes in to replace Mr. Norbert Piri, who was removed from his role as a commissioner.
Being a quasi-judicial commission, investigation and consultation with residents is what we start with. I believe that it's a commission set up to get the views of the residents, the complaints, and we inquire into the processes, where they've been lacking, where they've been working, and where they need to be adjusted.
Meanwhile, Bubi constituency legislator Honorable Simelisi Zwespanda, who was reappointed as Deputy Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development by President Mnangagwa after being pardoned, also took his oath of office. Honorable Spanda said he has learned from his mistakes, describing the head of state as a forgiving president.
It shows that we have a forgiving father. That is basically what it underlines. As a person, you grow from mistakes. Isn't someone who gets to fall down, is someone who will be moving. So what is very much important is how you pick up yourself and move forward. Definitely, I've learned a lesson, and that is how we grow as a people.
The Deputy Minister said he is now seized with contributing to the transformation of the higher and tertiary education sector. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Harare.
A government is set to increase penalties for businesses engaging in unjust price hikes and other unfair trade practices. The move is aimed at curbing rampant price increases that have eroded consumers' purchasing power.
In a post-cabinet media briefing presented in Harare this Tuesday, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jenfani Muswere, said several measures have been put in place to protect consumers.
In order to promote the uptake of plastic money, the government of Zimbabwe will strengthen the mandatory licensing requirements for all business operators to have a bank account, a POS machine under the shop and the Shop Licensing Act, and deploy inspectors to curb misdemeanors that militate against price stability and availability of basic commodities. Cabinet also noted that there is a proliferation of smuggled and counterfeit goods that are unfairly competing with local products, since the smuggled goods are not subjected to taxation and import duty. The government of Zimbabwe going forward will increase border patrols, increase the number of inspectors, and implement a whole-of-government approach to deal with the menace at border posts, and a review of penalties for perpetrators of unjust price hikes, the manipulation of the ZiG currency, smuggling, and all forms of unfair trade practices. The government of Zimbabwe is going to review the fines from a minimum of level 5 to a maximum of level 14 for the various offenses. Licenses will be rationalized and consolidated to be obtained in one centralized office.
Government is also set to establish an interministerial task force to coordinate the identification of idle and abandoned industrial spaces.
The government, we respect property rights. There is an elaborate process provided at law which will really save those people who are genuinely struggling to utilize their spaces for one reason or the other, and some that have been abandoned and left dilapidating, when this economy can find better use of it. You won't believe that there are some buildings that have not been occupied for not less than 25 years. Some with a complete infrastructure, rail siding within them, and you can imagine if in the interest of the economy those were to be utilized and our SMEs found space.
Cabinet also received an update on preparations for the Heroes Day commemorations and the Zimbabwe Defence Forces Day celebrations.
The major update on the Defence Forces Day celebrations is that the select team from the Zambian Defence Forces will play the select team from the Zimbabwe Defence Forces at Rufaro Stadium. The program remains as previously advised.
Repair of cancer machines at Paranyatwa Group of Hospitals in Harare is nearing completion.
The 76% that has been achieved is very satisfactory, and that to indicate that the low energy unique machine is now working following repairs, and the acquisition of another quality monitoring system is ongoing. The low energy unique machine is gone clinical 100%. The low energy unique machine has been running for 4 consecutive weeks and has diagnosed 58 cancer patients during this period. This has gone a long way in reducing the patient waiting list, which is now at 129 patients.
Other issues discussed in this Tuesday's cabinet include a report on the official visit to Iran for the inauguration of President Masoud Pezeshkian by Vice President Kembo Mohadi, as well as Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga's visit to Nicaragua for the 45th Sandinista Popular Revolution celebrations. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
Government says it remains committed to completing the construction of the Gwaishangani Lake in Matabeleland North Province. Our diplomatic correspondent Josephine Mugio gives us the details.
After it took over a century to get the Gwaishangani Lake project in motion, the inception of the Second Republic saw construction works finally kicking off, with the project now more than halfway through. A visit to the lake revealed work in progress at the 10-megawatt hydropower plant.
We are now doing installation of the 2-meter diameter, which is almost 200 meters from the main demo to this point where we are going to erect our main machine room for the mini hydropower plant.
We're currently installing the steel pen stock, and currently completion is on 90%. We're fabricating the steel pen stock here on site, and we're 90% complete.
With work on the dam walls expected to resume at any given time, villagers in Nabushome, which is in the vicinity of the dam, are optimistic that sooner than later the project will be completed and their water wars will become a distant memory.
Umsebenzi lawana umele uphushe ukuthi sithole khona amanzi ngoba amanzi lawana azasinceda kakhulu azasinceda ngoba singakwanisa ukubana siyenze okunye ama project wona lawa ukubana lathi sithole eminye imisebenzi sibe khona lathi ukwanisa ukubana sizisebenze lathi.
Ngifisa uba ugeshini kujana amanzi yolozifio ngatachifukavi ngabujana amanzi aduze ndabuta ugeshini lwa magadeni masiyo kana binzi zikonje ukuponeseka mundisobo mama.
Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development Minister Dr. Anxious Masuka says government is prioritizing the Gwaishangani Lake project.
Cabinet directed that we select 2 projects and we complete. And we said, let's select Kunji and Gwaishangani. So those are the projects that will receive additional resources so that we can accelerate their completion so that they can have a meaningful impact on the rural communities in which these dams are situated, but also on the communities in urban areas in Bulawayo and in Harare. In over a century, since the planning of Gwaishangani, nothing has happened until the advent of the Second Republic. And to be doing the works that we have done to 70.2% is a record. So I can assure them that government is fully committed to this project and additional resources will be availed as directed by Cabinet so that we can complete this. We know the importance of this particular project.
Meanwhile, turning to the winter wheat crop, Dr. Masuka says the country is on course to achieve the targeted 600,000 metric tons of the cereal crop this year.
We have a record planting of 121,982 hectares. We are just now doing the satellite verifications. We have 5 companies that are doing so, including our own Zinsa. So we await the results of that verification. The expectation now is the 600,000 metric tons that we said we wanted in terms of the wheat-based food security strategy. And we are on course to achieving that.
Transforming the local agriculture sector remains key for the Second Republic as the country marches towards attainment of an upper middle income society by 2030. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Harare.
The Geopomona Waste Management Company is now accepting hazardous waste following the completion of landfills at its site in Harare, while a water treatment plant and a batch plant are also ready for use.
The company will host the SADC heads of states and government during the SADC summit to appreciate how the transformative project initiated under the Second Republic will enhance environmental protection while adding to the national electricity grid. Landfills to deposit hazardous waste have now been completed as the project enters into its 3rd year of operationalization.
We're very excited to inform the public that we are now accepting hazardous waste, and we got the license from EMA, the Environmental Management Agency. So behind me, you can see the hazardous waste landfills, which were carefully engineered to accept the hazardous waste. They have layers of geotextile, geomembrane, black soil to make sure we protect the environment.
The water treatment plant is now also ready for use, while a batch plant to provide concrete for the construction of the main power plant is also complete.
We have 2 ponds, one for dirty water, the other one for clean water. The clean water comes now from the wastewater treatment plant that we have here. So it's a reverse osmosis unit with a design capacity of 4 cubic meters an hour, which literally translates to around 4,000 liters of water an hour, which is going to be processed.
This is the 60 cubic meter per hour concrete batch plant, which is meant to support our waste-to-energy project. We demand higher quantities of concrete, approximately 20,000 cubic meters of concrete for the waste-to-energy plant.
Deputy Executive Secretary of SADC Secretariat, Ms. Judith Katerere, toured the site ahead of the visit by the heads of state.
We are implementing the Regional Integrated Development Strategy, which is meant to develop the Southern Africa region. When we see member states coming up with projects such as this one, this is something that we deeply appreciate, because it is helping member states achieve a number of objectives. What we see here, we're seeing recycling, waste management, and so forth. But we are also looking at environmental issues. We are looking at employment creation.
Geopomona Chief Executive Officer Dr. Dilesh Ngwaya said the project, the first of its kind in the SADC region, is within its timelines.
The project is a 5-year construction. We're in year 3. It's Geopomona Waste Management. We're aligned with the United Nations climate change goals, which have been adopted in 2018. For the issue of Second Republic, this vision is His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa's palatable vision, transforming this country into an upper middle income economy by 2030, to make sure the people of Zimbabwe live in a good environment.
The Geopomona Waste to Energy project has a national project status and is expected to revolutionize waste management in the country, and remains a model venture made possible by the Second Republic towards the attainment of Vision 2030. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
The 44th SADC Heads of State and Government Summit is expected to provide a fertile ground for member states to deliberate on enhanced regional integration for growth. We get the details.
The annual Indaba of regional leaders looks at issues affecting member states ranging from politics, trade and investment to issues of stability and integration. In an interview with ZBC News this Tuesday, Zambia's ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Derek Levune, said the summit allows for SADC to find solutions to challenges it faces within the confines of the vision set by the regional forefathers.
When we all have one agenda in SADC, we'll sing from the same hymn. And when we do that, it means that now we are engulfing ourselves in this, and the realization that no one will solve it for us. It must be ourselves. I like the Zimbabwe, the president of Zimbabwe's position and development in terms of encouraging the citizens to say that no one will build Zimbabwe other than the citizens themselves. I like it. So because I'm a student of Shona, inovakwa na vene vayo, inotongwa na vene vayo, nokunamatiro, right? I like that. And you must also listen to how the Zimbabweans have accepted it. When he just shouts, Nika, and everyone will respond, meaning it is sinking so well that people are now growing with it, understanding that no one will deal with this matter. So even in SADC, no one will solve SADC problems apart from SADC member states themselves.
He also applauded Zimbabwe's engagement and re-engagement policy that continues to yield results.
So Zimbabwe's focus, re-engaging, universities can be re-engaged. Neighboring countries also can be re-engaged. And many other economic sectors can be re-engaged. So re-engagement policy speaks to the aliveness of an institution. Zimbabwe as a country is alive. Re-engagement speaks to openness, open to where are the gaps, what can we seal in, who can we engage in this matter and bring about economic diplomacy, development, create employment for the young people and move forward. So this policy on engagement, re-engagement by Zimbabwe, it speaks so well to the development agenda of the region.
Zimbabwe and Zambia have often been referred to as Siamese twins, with relations that date back to the struggle for independence and the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland. Zambia is the outgoing chair of the SADC organ troika on politics, defense and security, with Tanzania set to take over as a troika chair during the summit. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Improving access to clean water remains a priority for the government as it continues to sink boreholes across the country. Memory Chamisa with that report.
The old adage Mshamukadzi, which translates the home is built by a woman, is witnessed in this village where the ladies are ecstatic because of the availability of water. Women from Zenga village in Buhera are grateful for the presidential borehole sinking program that has immensely changed their lives. Having access to clean water has seen them also embarking on a farming project that has enabled food self-sufficiency at household level.
Chemvura chatakaisirwa na president zvanani chero community yedu yakuitirwa zvakanaka takuwanawo mvura yakachena kunyangwe zvipfuyo zveduwo zvakuwanawo mvura
takabatsirwa zvakanyanya pachirongwa chemvura ichi tiri kurima chibage chedu.
The implementing partner for presidential borehole sinking program is confident it will assist in alleviating food shortages at household level.
Our president is a visionary president. He is also a practical man. You know, when this thing started, we never know that it is going to have such an impact. It looks like a farm now, but you see, it's a business unit, just 100 hectares in the village. But look at the impact of it.
The establishment of rural business units in rural areas, which entails the sinking of boreholes and setting up of nutritional gardens, is on the government's agenda, expected to transform the country into an upper middle income society by 2030. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Buhera.
Government has made huge strides in promoting good governance with civil service and state enterprises, resulting in the attainment of set targets. With these milestones, stakeholders believe that attainment of Vision 2030 is imminent if government continues with the same ethic. We get the details.
The government of Zimbabwe came up with a raft of measures to enhance civil service and government institutions. These measures are meant to align individuals and institutions to Vision 2030 of creating an upper middle income society.
The Public Entities Corporate Governance Act clearly stated compliance requirements for parastatals and other public entities. And this, as a result, led to the improvement in the performance of public enterprises. They started, or rather they improved in terms of board performance, board compliance, board development, and we started to see a lot of activity in terms of board induction. During the same period, we also witnessed an increased focus on gender parity. There has been an upsurge in performance of these entities. And this is there for all of us to see in terms of the road construction that is going on, dam construction that is going on, developments at our airports.
On the legislative agenda, government through parliament instituted reforms in the political, media and human rights circles.
In terms of our legislative agenda, he immediately directed that we must look at POSA and with a view of ensuring that we reform it in terms of the way the public order and security is maintained, with a view of ensuring that we observe human rights. Over and above that, we went about to dismantle IPA. I'm sure you those in the media fraternity, you know the noises that were being made about the Access to Information and Publicity Act. And we dismantled IPA, we came up with Freedom of Information Act, we came up with Data Protection Act. Over and above that, one of the exciting things that happened is His Excellency directed that we open up the media space.
In terms of promoting access to justice, government is decentralized lower and higher courts to provinces and districts across the country.
Our judiciary system, ever since His Excellency came into power, I think we have had several milestones. Firstly, I would say in terms of access to justice, we have had opening up of several courts, be it magistrate courts and high courts. We now have a high court in Ntare, a high court in Masvingo, a state-of-the-art high court that was built in Chinhoyi. We are completing another one in Gwanda, the thrust being to have a high court in every province. But we are disseminating the magistrate courts to all the areas.
The Second Republic has registered huge milestones in governance structures, which has enhanced the implementation of national projects as well as transformation of state enterprises to contribute significantly to the gross domestic product. Bruce Chawanda, SADC News, Harare.
Keeping our focus on governance issues, the city of Harare has failed to account for funds disbursed by government to the local authority for the purchase of water treatment chemicals from Zimfort. John Nandara gives us the details.
Harare City Council Acting Finance Director Mr. Godfrey Kusangaya failed to give a satisfactory answer on the inadequate and poor water provision by the local authority for Harare residents. When he appeared before the Commission of Inquiry that is probing various matters of governance at the local authority, it emerged that council is currently producing around 350 megalitres of water against a demand of 800 to 1,200 megalitres.
Reasons attributed to this: one, about 350 on average, I think the first 6 months or so. The normal capacity, from what I know, the Director of Works, he's saying capacity at Milton Jeffrey can be anything up to 750, but they are not able to reach that capacity because of the state of the equipment there. They can hardly go beyond 450. That's what I'm made to understand.
Meanwhile, Mr. Kusangaya gave contradicting answers after being probed on how council will use the 1.2 million United States dollars disbursed to the local authority by government for the purchase of water treatment chemicals from Zimfort. The acting finance director failed to account for the money. Furthermore, the Commission of Inquiry produced evidence that the City Council has been defaulting on payments of water treatment chemicals from the supplier Chemplex, a subsidiary of Zimfort, contradicting earlier claims by the acting finance director that they have been fulfilling their payment obligations to the supplier. Harare residents have for a long time been demanding answers from council to the poor water supply situation, where they go for days or weeks with dry taps, with indications now pointing to abuse of funds at the local authority. Meanwhile, Monday's probe into governance of the City Council resulted in the local authority revealing that it has more than 2,000 properties for industrial, commercial, institutional and recreational purposes, while admitting they do not have a consolidated register for all their properties. President Emmerson Mnangagwa appointed the Commission of Inquiry, chaired by retired High Court Judge Justice Matthews Cheda, to probe matters of governance at Harare City Council beginning 2017. This Monday, Mr. Tafazwa Ungwe was also sworn in as a commissioner of the Commission of Inquiry. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe School Examinations Council has released the June 2024 ordinary and advanced level results, with significant improvement in O-level performance being recorded.
In a media briefing in Harare this Tuesday, ZIMSEC Board Chair Professor Paul Mafumo said ordinary level students demonstrated notable improvement, achieving a pass rate of 40. The advanced level result presented a contrasting picture, with the pass rate declining substantially to 31.67%.
6 candidates registered for the June 2024 ordinary level examinations. A total number of candidates who sat for 5 or more subjects in the June 2024 examinations was 383, which is 1.27% of the total candidature of 30,088, and the remainder sat for less than 5 subjects. The total number of candidates who registered for the June 2024 advanced level examination was 144. Of these 52 candidates who wrote 2 or more subjects, and 38 obtained grade E or better in 2 or more subjects.
With candidates with special needs increasing from 14 to 38, translating to 157 increase, ZIMSEC Director Dr. Lazarus Nimbaware said the examination board will introduce enhanced videograph examinations for the hearing impaired students, ensuring greater accessibility and inclusivity.
We are going to go a gear up in as far as this November is concerned by offering videoized question papers, so that those who are going to use sign language are able to not to have the disadvantage of someone else signing, but it will be the people at ZIMSEC who will sign through a video.
Meanwhile, the ZIMSEC board has expressed concern over the significant disparity in performance between private and school candidates, where 375 private candidates achieved a pass rate of 4%, whereas 8 school candidates attained a pass rate of 25%. Candidates can access their results online using the ZIMSEC website. Heads of schools can start collecting results from ZIMSEC regional offices this Wednesday. Varashe Mariga, ZBC News, Harare.
These and more stories are available on our website. You can visit www.zbcnews.co.zw.
Or you can get in touch with us on our social media handles, that is at ZBC News Online.
Still to come in this bulletin, in business, Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates explore more trade and investment opportunities.
And in sport, Zimbabwe sprinters Maganaka Shecharamba and Tapiona Shemakarau will prepare for semi-finals at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games this Wednesday. The main news takes a break. We'll be back with you shortly.
This is the currency we've been waiting for. A currency that's not just paper and coins, but a symbol of Zimbabwe's rich resources and stability. That's Zimbabwe Gold. This is ZIG. Let's dive into what makes ZIG not just a new currency, but a new beginning for Zimbabwe's economy. ZIG is born out of a blend of traditional and innovative financial wisdom, anchored in gold and precious metals, along with foreign currency reserves. This backing isn't just for show. It's a promise of stability and trust, ensuring that ZIG's value is as solid as the gold it's pegged to. From the bustling markets of Harare to the serene landscapes of rural Zimbabwe, ZIG is set to become the medium of exchange that's both reliable and accessible. With denominations ranging from ZIG 200 to ZIG 1 and even handy coins, it caters to every transaction, big or small. Transitioning to ZIG is a breeze. It's all about inclusivity, ensuring no one is left behind in Zimbabwe's financial renaissance. ZIG doesn't walk alone. It co-circulates with other foreign currencies under Zimbabwe's multi-currency system, enriching our financial landscape. It's a legal tender that not only simplifies transactions, but also restores confidence in our economy, promising a future where stability and growth go hand in hand. So why ZIG? Because it's more than just money. It's a symbol of Zimbabwe's resilience, a step towards an economy where stability is the norm, and every Zimbabwean can look forward to a prosperous future. Welcome to the era of Zimbabwe Gold, where our currency is our pride.
Tanangane heroes. Tudakuichudana maZimbabweans kuti tisakangama kwatakabva. Pane magamba vakafira nyika ino. They sacrificed for us varamudori isu today. Kuti tive zvatiri. vaenda kuhondo kusingana bharago mari nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, and the dream of Zimbabwe inouya namwari wokwedu. Iyezvo takananga neheroes this August, vana mbuya nihana nanaseri kwagubi nanarobert mugabe nanvose ebert chitepo vaibva vati Mnangagwa takupa kuti tanyuka kuti adzoka newe SADC chairperson uri kuuya. Saka my comrades, my heroes edu, magamba edu, we thank you for the well done job ramakatiitira, and nhasi we will never ever let you down. Atitengesi isu as a public demand 2030 president Mnangagwa munenge muripo.
75 days since the last day of last season. We are ready to do it all again. Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Upgrade to DSTV Compact for $30 a month to get all the football action you want.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Much has been written about the heinous atrocities committed by the white supremacist regime to guerrillas fighting for what was rightfully theirs. But not much has been told about the targeted assassinations of top commanders, which threatened to derail the liberation struggle. In our Heroes feature, we revisit the assassination of national hero comrade Jason Ziapapa Moyo, which changed the course of the armed struggle. We give you the details.
On one fateful morning of January 22, 1977, in Lusaka, Zambia, what was supposed to be a parcel of one of the top nationalists to ever walk this land, Jason Ziapapa Moyo, turned to be a bullet that took out his life. The brutal Smith regime had adopted a sleek way of taking out top commanders in anticipation that it would send freedom fighters scattered like proverbial chicks after their mother has been killed. This and other assassinations of the top commanders changed the course of the struggle. Instead of derailing the struggle as anticipated by Ian Smith's dreaded intelligence, the assassinations, which were huge losses on the part of guerrillas, were turned into momentum. While losing a huge figure like Jason Ziapapa Moyo shocked the entire ZAPU leadership, the comrades used it as a reason of never to look back.
It was a very difficult thing, especially for Chezet, because Chezet is someone you thought they would not die. So they are dying in Mexico, you're dying in not important. Then that gives you a drive to go on. Feel if Chezet can die, or who am I to live? But it shook the struggle. That's a fact. Especially on Zipra, those things had an impact. They had an impact, but in the struggle you learn to say you must turn your losses into a momentum, so you do more.
But what did the remaining leaders of the liberation struggle did to turn the tide? One of the first 15 guerrillas from the Zipra side who went to train in Bulgaria on security and protection of the commanders and political figures, Comrade Albert Ngurube, said the lessons drawn from these assassinations changed the course of the war.
We were the first group who was sent to Bulgaria. Were 15 of us, Laboleitum or Mapeka Peka, to go and specialize in security and their protection. I think EC ties developed a system where they can easily assassinate leadership. Well, when we came in, we now are referring to the Russians gave us equipment. Ingwad Yong Unkomoyang Sabal Ingwad. Ingwad Yong is a screener because we're trained in that. We're screened to make sure that whatever goes to him, is it a parcel, is it a letter, it goes through our screening. It was not only Nkomo protector. We started to even protect Shinaman was the vice president, Umunodawafa, Umsika was the secretary general. It was all along wearing a protect, but we started to attach people to look after them.
Born in 1927 in Plumtree, Jason Ziapapa Moyo was reburied at the National Heroes Acre on the 11th of August 1981. In recognition of his contribution, President Emmerson Mnangagwa renamed Field Air Force Base to Jason Ziapapa Moyo Air Force Base. JZ, as he was affectionately known, belongs to a long list of fine men and women in the mold of Joshua Mqabuko Nyongolo Nkomo, Tenjiwe Lesabe, George Lundika, and Lookout Vumindaba Masugu, to mention but a few who hailed from Matabeleland South and gave it all for the freedom of this country. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Kwanda.
And on that note, we cross over to our Montrose studios in Bulawayo. We now join Marilyn Gwenya, who is on standby. It's a very good evening to you, Marilyn.
Good evening and many thanks to you, Joyce and Zain. And now in our following report, India has rallied behind Zimbabwe's bid to be readmitted into the Commonwealth. Olindori has the following report.
An Indian delegation is in Zimbabwe to assess projects that are being implemented under the two countries' partnership. The delegation attended the commissioning of the Decca water pipeline in Hwange this Monday that was supported by the South Asian nation. This Tuesday, it met with the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Albert Chimbindi, and expressed India's support for Zimbabwe to be readmitted into the Commonwealth.
We've had discussions on this and we have agreed to carry forward these discussions as well. India and Zimbabwe traditionally have supported each other at multilateral meetings and multilateral fora. We are very supportive of each other's candidatures, and I can assure you that Zimbabwe will not find India wanting, just as we have never found Zimbabwe wanting whenever we have asked for support.
Ambassador Chimbindi said they discussed issues including the Decca pipeline, Commonwealth, as well as India's bid to be in the UN Security Council.
The purpose of the visit is to for political consultations as per our agreement. And under political consultations, we come and exchange notes and share perspectives on issues that are of interest and concern to both countries. We acknowledged and recognized the fact that India has always been playing a leading role within the Commonwealth, and we have taken advantage of their presence and their friendship to ask them to lend their support to Zimbabwe's bid to rejoin the Commonwealth. And we are grateful that India would be taking that lead in that regard.
Zimbabwe and India share ties in various sectors that include health, trade and investment, with political ties that date back to the struggle for independence. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Parliamentarians have acknowledged the positive impact of joint ventures in improving agricultural productivity as the sector remains firmly on a growth trajectory.
Many farms that were not productive over the years have improved their output capacity thanks to the government policy of joint ventures adopted in 2021. This came out during the tour of large irrigation farms in Manicaland province by the Peace and Security Thematic Committee and the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Lands, Agriculture and Rural Development this Monday.
This season we managed to do 90 hectares. 70 hectares we were contracted by ADA, and 20 hectares we managed to self-finance ourselves. ADA has really helped us a lot. We got our seed, our fertilizer and chemicals on time.
Kune varimi vakapartner neADA. So far it's showing kuti ADA iri kuratidza kuti nevarimi vari kushandidzana zvakanaka. Varimi vari kupupura kune vatawana so far kuti ma-inputs avo vakawana on time. Vari kutaura zvakare kuti even measure yegovernment yemechanization through AFC Bank yema-combine harvester iri kubatsira zvakare.
Ukama hwaitwa pakati pevaridzi vana muzvinapurazi neADA kuti vange vachisusukidzana vachibatsirana kunga vachirima vari pamwe chete zviri kuburitsa zvinhu zvinenge zvinotifadzei nepamusaka pekuti ma-inputs zvakafanana nefertilizer yachona nembeu vakazvana nenguva.
ADA has entered into joint ventures covering over 3,600 hectares in Manicaland province and over 60,000 hectares across the country. Meanwhile, parliamentarians noted concerns to do with electricity load shedding and theft of copper cables as issues that require urgent attention to ensure the country's wheat targets are met. Kenya Chivuje, ZBC News, Makoni.
The remains of 6 unknown veterans of the liberation struggle have been reburied at the Mount Darwin Heroes Acre, with the Fallen Heroes Trust committing to carry on ensuring a decent burial for those who perished during the liberation struggle.
After lying at Mount Darwin Hospital mortuary for over a decade, the remains of 6 veterans of the liberation struggle were interred at the Mount Darwin Heroes Acre on Monday.
Vanga vasangana mabhonzo avo vamwe anga akadyiwa neacid zvekuti anga asakwanise kuseparateka kuti uyu ndinhingi uyu ndinhingi, saka tangovaviga vakadaro. Ende ichokwadi kubvawo 1980 nyika ichihwiniwa takabva tangotanga chirongwa ichochi, tiri kuenda mberi, hatisi kudzoka kumashure.
Presiding over the reburial, Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, paid tribute to the fallen heroes for sacrificing their lives to liberate their country from the shackles of colonialism.
The burial of these heroes is a demonstration of the Second Republic's commitment to honoring and preserving the history and memory of those who gave their lives for the better good. It is solemn a reminder that the struggle and sacrifices of our heroes must never be forgotten.
ZANU-PF Mashonaland Central Province mobilized funds to assist in the reburial of the 6, with remains of 3 others that were positively identified by their families being repatriated to their homes.
Zvinotirerutsira isu kuti tive pazvinhu zvatiri nhasi zvakauya nekuda kwemagamba arere pano nhasi. Vanhu vakazvipira kushandira nyika, kusacrifice upenyu hwavo kusvika nhasi pano tizovati magamba varere pano.
Kuiga magamba edu akafira rusununguko rweZimbabwe nenguva yanga yagara yari mumochari. Zvinhu zvinotifadza nokuti takatarisa kuno kuMount Darwin ndo district rakakura, ndo district rakandimuka vana vakawanda kaenda kuhondo.
The nation should actually take the responsibility to ensure that the remains of these veterans who died during the war are actually buried with the respect they deserve.
The reburial of the heroes comes a few days before the nation commemorates Heroes Day next week to honor freedom fighters who liberated the country from the shackles of colonial bondage. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mount Darwin.
And our main news continues from Pocket Hill Studios in Harare, where Joyce is on standby. Joyce, it's back to you.
Well, thank you, Marilyn, and our crew from Montrose Studios for giving us that last stretch of the bulletin. We continue. Preparations for this year's Zimbabwe Agricultural Show are at an advanced stage, with more than 360 exhibitors having registered so far.
368 exhibitors out of a targeted 560 have so far registered for this year's Zimbabwe Agricultural Show, which will run from the 26th to the 31st of this month at the Exhibition Park in Harare. Giving an update on preparations in Harare this Tuesday, Zimbabwe Agricultural Society's Chief Executive Officer Dr. Andrew Matebiri said 66,000 square meters of space have so far been taken up out of the available 76,000.
A lot of the exhibitors are on site, sprucing up their pavilions and preparing their displays. Out of the area that we have, which is 76,000 square meters plus 66,000 square meters have already been taken up. We are looking at a total of 560 exhibitors coming this year. In terms of foreign exhibitors, so far we've got 6 that have confirmed their participation. They include countries like Eswatini, Zambia, Malawi, Germany, South Africa, and Pakistan, and of course China.
Meanwhile, construction of a shopping mall at the exhibition park is at an advanced stage, with the superstructure nearing completion.
The construction of the shopping mall continues, especially the superstructure above ground, which is now almost complete. And we are hoping parts of the shopping mall, especially the food outlet, one of the food outlets will be ready by the time the agricultural show starts. The rest of the complex will be opened in October this year.
The construction of the mall is part of the ZANS master plan to modernize and expand its facilities. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
The trial of 78 Citizens Coalition for Change activists who are being charged with unlawful gathering and disorderly conduct continued at the Harare Magistrate Courts this Tuesday.
Witnesses have so far testified against the 78 CCC activists, claim that they were attacked by the accused who damaged their car and injured them. One witness, a police officer, told the court that he was the one who was driving the car, which was allegedly damaged by the people who were gathered at Jameson Timber's house in Harare on the 16th of June. He said 23 to 25 people stormed out of the house and started to throw stones at the police, and in response the police threw tear smoke at the crowd. He also said amongst the accused in court, he could not identify anyone who was at the gathering except for Timber. The trial continues this Wednesday. Meanwhile, opposition leader Jacob Ngarivume, who was arrested last week on charges related to a June 16 incident where 78 Citizens Coalition for Change CCC activists were arrested, is expected back in court this Wednesday for bail hearing. Ngarivume is charged alongside Kelvin Gonde on charges of participating in an unlawful gathering and disorderly conduct. The pair initially appeared in court last Saturday, where the state opposed bail, hence postponement of the matter to this Wednesday for bail application. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
From the courts to go beyond our country's borders, where the British government is battling to quell violent protests across the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland towns and cities, which began at the weekend. Described as the United Kingdom's worst riots in 13 years, the protests came after the fatal stabbing of 3 girls in Southport last week. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has since called for another emergency Cobra meeting this evening as police prepare for more far-right riots on Wednesday. According to police sources, around 30 gatherings were planned for Wednesday, with government expected to deploy around 6,000 specialist police officers. The violence in the United Kingdom comes on the back of an assassination attempt last month on former U.S. President Donald Trump, who had a bullet piercing his upper part of his right ear as he stood on a stage addressing supporters during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The incidents in the United Kingdom and the United States have since attracted widespread condemnation, with some quarters describing them as slaps in the face of nations that are fond of lecturing the world on democracy. The main news now takes a break. We'll be back shortly with business news. Stay with us.
SPW for AD, people living with disability for AD, we are happy with you, our president. Now we have said that Moita, our star president, more demonstrate more with president, more with the Iswafa Norukura, Istaka Spatra, Nambu. To the test of Passata, Panapa, manifestors among them, running what you own us at which is a Zimbabwe, that is for me. Takado Suni kind of one event. Kwede zokuti no one wachipulana kuti kwai no toda kuti sadaka ichide saka vanoshandisiwa yawechitai muno muzimbabwe iye zoti sitafokasa sadaka president Mnangagwa tinoti we are behind you as disabled people.
Cholera is a diarrheal disease that is caused by eating food or drinking water contaminated with cholera, causing bacteria. To protect yourself from cholera, always wash your hands with soap under safe running water, before preparing food, before eating, after using the toilet, after changing nappies and attending to someone sick, after handling dirty objects. Adequately prepare food and eat it whilst hot, and always wash fruits and vegetables under safe running water before eating them. Use water from safe sources and boil it for at least a minute or treat it with water treatment solutions. If you suspect that you or a family member has cholera, contact your nearest health facility immediately. Let's work together and end cholera now. This message is brought to you by the Zimbabwe Red Cross Society, International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, and USAID in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Childcare.
Zimbabwe will proudly host the 44th Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government on August 17, 2024 in Harare. Preceding this landmark event are crucial meetings of SADC senior officials and the Council of Ministers setting the agenda for the summit. ZBC will cover all the action from these preparatory meetings to the summit itself across its TV, radio, and digital platforms. Advertisers are encouraged to seize this significant opportunity to enhance their brand's visibility locally and regionally through tailored advertising packages during the SADC meetings and summit. For more details on advertising opportunities, please contact Mildred on 0712-831-177 or Wilson on 0775-902-040 or email sales@zbc.co.zw.
Welcome back. Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates are eyeing increased trade relations, with a business forum being held in Harare to explore more trade and investment opportunities between the two countries.
Figures obtained from Zimstats and TradeMap indicate Zimbabwe's exports to the United Arab Emirates (UAE) passed the $2 billion mark after increasing from $223 million in 2017 to $2.1 billion in 2022. Trade promotion body Zimtrade organized a Zimbabwe UAE business forum held in Harare to further increase trade between the two countries, with delegates from the UAE targeting the country's horticultural industry.
We are looking to export citrus and blueberry and dates from Zimbabwe to GCC and Far Asia to our customers.
We came here to meet the exporters, we meet the growers, so we can increase our opportunity and investments in Dubai.
Federation of the UAE Chambers of Commerce and Industry Secretary General Humaid Mohammed Ben Salem says Zimbabwe's export products continue to gain preference in the UAE.
Enhancing our trade and investment ties will also allow us to pursue significant opportunities across various fields, including leather product, processed food, horticulture, and art and crafts.
Foreign Affairs and International Trade Permanent Secretary Ambassador Albert Chimbindi underscored the continued aggressive approach by government to grow exports.
Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates maintain cordial relations, and both countries are committed to further enhancing economic cooperation, particularly in the realms of trade, investment, and tourism. The UAE has emerged as a pivotal and strategic trading partner for Zimbabwe, serving as a prime source market for investments.
The UAE delegation is set to tour growers of export products to create more business linkages that can culminate in increased trade between the two countries. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
From business, we jump straight into the arts, where the 8th edition of the Jacaranda Music Festival has been slated for the 4th of October, with more local and international artists billed to perform at the annual fiesta.
This year's edition of the festival, which is slowly becoming a regional attraction, will see a star-studded lineup of local and international artists from countries including South Africa, Zambia, Spain, and the United States of America, performing at the Thompson Polo Park in Harare this October.
The first thing I think is the move from us moving from Old Hararians to Thorn Park. Every 3 years we do move and we change venue. The next exciting thing is we've got a whole lot more artists coming from different countries this year. We've got artists from Spain, we've got artists from the States, we've got artists from Zambia, obviously we've got artists from home, from Zimbabwe, and we've got artists from South Africa coming through. So it's going to be an exciting thing, and variety is there, diversity. We're really excited to be presenting what is not normal. It's not a concert, it's a festival. So we cater for different people, different tastes.
Officially launching the festival, government emphasized the Second Republic's commitment to creating a conducive environment for arts to thrive while promoting growth in the sector.
As a ministry, we have taken it upon ourselves to support the increase of such platforms across the country. My team has identified at least one major provincial festival that beginning next year, we want to support those festivals even financially.
The launch also brought to the fore the importance of the corporate world in growing the creative industry.
We want to ensure that our artists get real value for the talent that they deliver to the citizens in Zimbabwe. They entertain us, but it doesn't make sense if they then don't earn a decent living. So by supporting the Jacaranda Music Festival, we are providing employment for the artists and the many service providers that come to put this festival together.
Among some of the international acts include South Africa's Mikasa, Casper Nyovest, Fellow Liti, Zambia's James Sakala, America Performing Arts Group, Backtrack Vocals, and Spain's Idol. Local acts include Freeman, Felinandi, Nati O, Mukumba, and Master H, among a host of other talented artists lined up for the 3-day event. Patience Nyakato, SABC News, Harare.
Well, that is definitely going to be jam-packed. The main news takes a breather. We'll be back shortly with the latest in sport.
The Midlands Show is here, 22 to 25 August 2024. Usasare, fun and games for kids, para drops and helicopter display. Saturday, live performance from Killer T, the chairman. And on Sunday, Mr. and Miss Midlands Show beauty pageant. Announced powered by Mahogany Crew. Supported by Travelers Band, Sam Kokos, Kidoj Kandamina, Defeater, Macman, Legioni, Henry Talent Boy. And to wrap up the show on Sunday, fireworks. Exhibition stands still available for booking. Contact us on 054-222-3230 or 054-222-3998. Sales 0773-466-554, 0713-219-519. Midlands Show, strategic innovation for economic growth.
Want to elevate your entertainment? Then add Showmax to your DSTV subscription at no extra cost. Showmax is not a TV channel. It's an on-demand video streaming service on Showmax.com. To add Showmax to your DSTV subscription, simply use the My DSTV app. Select Add Showmax. The app screen will confirm that you qualify for Showmax at no extra cost as a DSTV Premium subscriber. Now you can enjoy exclusive shows and movies. Add Showmax to elevate your entertainment.
Zimbabwe, where the sun kisses the earth, lies a world of endless opportunity. Here, amidst the vibrant colors and lively exchanges,
the spirit of abundance live. Allow yourself the opportunity to connect and innovate. See the future of your business at the 114th edition of the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show.
Filled with ideas, new and radical, that are cultivating prosperity, growing business, innovating for change, and nurturing our future. From agriculture to agribusiness, and from agricultural education to agri-tourism, every sector finds a place to flourish here, where companies unveil their latest innovations and network with current and potential markets. SADC 2024, where the future of all business sectors is being written today.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us on our Sports News as we get to give you what has been happening through the day. My name is Lawrence Trusida. Once again, we start off in Paris, where sprinters Makanaka Ishecharamba and Tapiwana Shamakarao have captured the nation's attention with their impressive performances at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Charamba, who was first onto the track on Monday, clocked an impressive 20.27 seconds to finish second behind Leslie Tebogo of Botswana in Heat 2, and Makarao would not be outdone, competing in Heat 5, finished second again, joining fellow countrymen in the semi-finals, which are on tomorrow. Making their debut at the Olympics, the GOE are determined to keep the momentum as they compete in the semi-finals that are set for tomorrow. As Charamba and Makarao prepare for the semi-finals this Wednesday, the nation holds its breath, hoping they will make history and continue to shine. So yes, that's good news coming through from the Olympics. But from the Olympics, we'll return home to Mavuku, to be precise, where former Dynamos coach Genesis Mangombe has damned Dynamos, joining Scotland barely 24 hours after leaving the Harare Giants.
Full coach tendered his resignation late this Monday before being unveiled by Northern Region Division 1 side Scotland FC the following day. Mangombe believes he will show his true colours at the Mavuku-based club.
I appreciate the appointment as the head coach of Scotland Football Club. I really see it's a well-organised team and it's well-funded. And at the end of the day, given the environment, I can see is conducive for producing better results.
The former Dynamos coach has been given a target to secure promotion to the Premier Soccer League, and he takes over with the team in 4th position for 4 points behind league leaders Moz FC. Mangombe took over at Dynamos last season with high expectations and managed to deliver the Chibuku Super Cup, which was Dynamos' first trophy in 9 years. With the expectation high that the Glamour Boys will lock on, the club struggled this season, managing just 6 wins in 22 matches. Meanwhile, Dynamos have appointed veteran Lloyd Chigowe as interim coach, but indications are that they are looking for a foreign coach to take over, with the club set to play continental football next week.
It never rains but continues to pour at the Glamour Boys. Moving on, the Women's Premier Soccer League football continues this Wednesday with midweek fixtures lined up across the country.
It's game on in the race for the Women Football Championship, with perennial campaigners Black Rhinos Queens, Chapungu, and defending champions the Rentals Queens locked in a 3-way battle. At the start of the season, it appeared as a 2-horse race between Black Rhinos Queens and the Rentals Queens, but Chapungu have proved they are a force to reckon with. Chapungu will have to prove their mettle once again in a midweek titanic clash with 6th placed the Platinum Royals. On the other hand, Black Rhinos Queens make the long trip to Bulawayo for a date with Highlanders Royals, while defending champions the Rentals Queens have an easy task on paper against a struggling Hope Academy. Within a shouting distance, 4th placed Correctional Queens will be out to close the 7-point gap, separating them with log leaders in an away clash to MSU. A battle of police sides Black Mamas and basement side Zeterapi Harare is set for Morris Depot, while Conduit Soccer Academy face Faith Drive, while a revived Shisham hosts Mutare City. Thursday is one fixture pitting Harare City Queens against exciting Maningi Youth Academy. Mtogozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
That report from Mtogozi Stube puts a wrap on sports news, and it's now time for the weather.
Hello.
Hello Zimbabwe and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Hope I find you well. Looking at our satellite image, we had moisture that drifted in overnight over the southern parts of the country, covering Matabeleland south into Masvingo, as well as parts of Manicaland provinces into the southern parts of the Midlands. The northern half was still sunny and warm for the bulk of the day, and these clouds faded off as the day progressed, giving us cooler conditions as we got into the evening hours. And as such, for tomorrow, we're still expecting those brief cloudy periods over the southern parts of the country, covering Matabeleland south into parts of Masvingo, as well as the eastern highlands. To the north, we're still expecting clear skies for much of the day. These clouds are, however, very brief, so we expect them to clear off as the day progresses. For our detailed temperature forecast, we're expecting Harare to have a maximum of 27, slightly cooler than it was today, whilst Bulawayo is much warmer with a maximum of 28, 27. Also for Gweru, slightly warmer than it was today. Mutare is still cloudy with the maximum of only 23, whilst Kwekwe breaks off with mostly sunny skies. Same for Kadoma with a maximum of 30. For Masvingo, it's just brief cloudy periods in the morning hours, giving our temperatures to about 27, much warmer than it was today, whilst Chinoyo is at 30 by afternoon, 33 into Lupane, Bindura at 28, whilst Marondera still has a bit of clouds here and there, the maximum of only 25. Kwanda is mostly sunny for the bulk of the day with a maximum of 27, just brief cloudy periods in the morning hours. For our holidays of Victoria Falls and Kariba, still sunny and warm for the bulk of the day, maximums in the 30s, whilst Great Zimbabwe still has brief cloudy periods in the morning hours with maximum of 26. 22 is our maximum for Nyanga, with those cloudy conditions still prevailing over Nyanga area, but for Matopo it's just brief cloudy periods in the morning hours, whilst Chimanimani is cloudy for the bulk of the morning, becoming less cloudy as the day progresses. For outlook period, we get more of the sunny skies across much of the atmosphere, just remnant pockets of moisture giving us brief cloudy periods here and there, but it shouldn't be much. That's all for our weather and forecast. Being a place Zimbabwe, I'm James Kuma Jr. for the Med Department.
Well, many thanks to James for that detailed weather report and forecast. And that was our last port of call on the main news tonight. From all of us here, it's good night.
Good night.